Hello my friends, as you'll see at the end of this intro, I have a new sponsor on the channel, is Noble Knight Games, and you'll hear more about them later and on future videos, but having that relationship, I asked them to send me some information on the top selling games of 2025 so far. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look at that list and then try to figure out what content seems to be the most fun thing and what people might want to see. So they did send me a list of the top selling games in 2025, and I looked it over, and to me, there's a lot of different avenues or ways I could have gone with this, but looking at this, there were some big surprises to me as to like what's the top selling games. And so in this video, there's gonna be 5 big surprises from the top selling games of 2025. Now, first of all, this list that I'm speaking about is in quantity, not revenue specifically. They sent me a list of like the top 30 selling. So everything I'm going to mention here is in the top 30 selling games of quantity in 2025. Now let's get to a short note from Noble Knight Games, and then we'll start the top 5. Before I get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to tell you about the Sell Trade program at Noble Knight Games. Now, as gamers, we all have games that are cluttering our shelves that we either don't have the right group for or might even not like it. Well, now you can turn those unappreciated games into cash or store credit. Noble Knight Games buys thousands of games and gaming products. It's easy to send them a list of the games that you'd like to sell or trade. Now they'll send you a quote and even pay for the shipping of the games. Get treated and paid like royalty while you sit back and collect cash or store credit. To get started, click the link in the description of this video or in that upper right corner there, and then click the Sell Trade button.
Number 5.
Now, the first thing that was surprising to me is that one of the games on this list was The Crew: Search for Planet 9. Now, this is a cooperative trick-taking game that took the world by storm when it came out. It's an amazing game. It's fantastic. But I was surprised to find it here because more recently there was a sequel to that game called Deep Sea Mission, The Crew Mission Deep Sea, sorry. And that game pretty much replaced the original version for not only myself, but pretty much anybody else that's reviewed the game has said, hey, this is similar to the original The Crew, but it's better. And because there's more of a replayability factor where you could play the same missions with different people and it's actually a different game, or the difficulty is different. Like you're not playing the same exact thing. And so it's just better. So I was like, I was just surprised. So in a lot of these I was surprised, and then as I started to dig into the details, I kind of learned a little bit why things might be, and that's part of what I'm sharing with this video. At first I said, why isn't Deep Sea Mission there? So when I look at their site, it said Deep Sea Mission was last stocked on September 28th, which is a day before I recorded this video. And it was already sold out. So my thinking is that Mission Deep Sea comes into stock, it sells out because, if something's sold out on Noble Knight's website, you can add a wait list or want list. It will notify you when it's back in stock. My guess is that people are pushing that button for this game, and as soon as it comes, it sells out. And maybe they're just not getting enough through distribution in order to sell more than the Search for Planet 9. That's all I'm thinking. It's just, I was surprised that Search for Planet 9 was there, Deep Sea Mission wasn't there. But I think that might be why. Maybe there was some stock shortages. Regardless, if you haven't played either of these games, they're both great. And if one of them's out of stock, they're inexpensive games and they're great to get. And it's just, both of them are amazing. If I have my choice, I'm always going Mission Deep Sea for sure.
Number 4.
The next surprise for me was a 2-player trick-taking game, Fox in the Forest. Now, don't get me wrong, I very positively reviewed Fox in the Forest. I think it's a really good 2-player trick-taking game. And when it came out, which was many years ago, I remember playing it at Origins with Steve from the Secret Cabal many years ago, and he whooped my butt like 3 games in a row. And then I took it home and I finally got better at it. But the game, it's good. It's really good. But since then, there's been a lot of other 2-player trick-taking games that I personally like even better. Now, granted, this is the highest ranking 2-player only trick-taking game on Board Game Geek. It's ranked number 652 overall of all games, which, if you're not familiar with Board Game Geek, anything in the top 1,000 is like really good. So being at 652, and for smaller games, Board Game Geek's weightings tend to weight heavier, larger, longer games better than the smaller games. So to have a small game that's a very limited player count to be that high, it's very highly ranked. So I'm not surprised that people like it. I'm just surprised that it's on the list of the top 30 selling this year because A, people are like Cult of the New. They like the new stuff. This is an older game. And there's also 2 newer games that are 2-player tic-tac games I like better, like Claim. Now that one is out of print. You can get, Noble Knight Games is one of the largest sellers of used board games. And you can get looked like when I looked last night, you can get Claim for $35 a used copy because it's out of print. It's hard to get. That's a 2-player tic-tac game from Scott Alms. And then there's Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard, one that came out last year. This was on my short list for the best 2-player of the game year last year. That was from 25th Century Games. And then there's also a 2-player tic-tac game called Lone Wolves. Now, that's out of stock as well, as of last night checking on Noble Knight. But they last stocked it on September 3rd. So again, it came in within the month, and it already sold out. So that also maybe the same thing with the previous one I just mentioned, where like maybe they're not getting enough stock to make the quantities up a lot. But if you like 2-player tic-tac games, those are a few that are also amazing. But I was surprised because it's not something that you see played at conventions a lot. You don't hear a lot of people still talking about it, but yet it's still one of the top 30 selling. That was surprising me.
Number 3.
Okay, this next surprise, part of it is not a surprise. Wingspan's on there, right? Duh, it's always going to be on there. That one was actually number 17. Higher than Wingspan at number 7 was Wormspan, which I was a little surprised to see because Wormspan came out a couple years ago. And so the fact that it's still selling as well as it is a little surprising to me. And Finspan is number 1. It was the number 1 selling game so far this year. That's all. When you put this whole thing together, Wingspan, Wormspan, Finspan, to me, this is just a surprise that all 3 are on there. Number 1, because Stonemaier Games has like a cult following. They have all these what they call champions, where they, you get shipping for free if you pre-order and you're part of the champion and stuff like that, and you get all these other benefits. And they have a huge amount of rabid fans about Stonemaier Games, and they buy everything that they do. But a lot of those people buy directly from Stonemaier Games. So even with that being said, not counting any of those, because those people are not then buying it from Noble Knight because they've already bought it directly from Stonemaier Games. You take that huge crowd that are rabid fans off the line here, and Wingspan, Wormspan, and Finspan are all in the top 17 selling games of this year. To me, that still blows my mind. Not that they're not good games, but the fact that you have 3 games that are sort of derivatives of each other, and there's still all 3 of them in the top. Like, it was just a surprise to me. And I wonder if it is to you. Leave a comment, let me know.
Number 2.
The number 2 most surprising thing to me is Rory's Story Cubes Actions. Now, there's a bunch of Rory Story Cubes. There's a million of them out there. This one is older. It was like 2007 it came out. It came out with 9 new dice. There's 54 action images or pictoverbs on there. Now, essentially, this is like a storytelling game. So, essentially, like, it's perfect. It says it's perfect for... there's a little thing called the Squire, the helpful Squire on Noble Knight's website, where you can click it. It's like a little bit of AI that tells you, hey, who's the game good for, who's it not good for? And when I clicked that, it said, hey, Actions is perfect for both beginners and seasoned storytellers. It's easy to use dice, sparks creativity and fun, making it delightful choices for family and cooperative play, welcoming players of all skill levels to join in the storytelling adventure. So part of me is not surprised that something that is mass market and low price is up there, but it was number 2, like the second highest selling game. Like maybe they had some type of crazy deal where it was like $5. I don't know. But I was surprised to see something because, Noble Knight's kind of like a website where gamer enthusiasts go to. This isn't like a place where a lot of mass market people are buying that. They're buying Rory Story Cubes in Targets and Walmarts and places like that. But that's why I was kind of surprised because everything else seems to be more hobby gaming, but this is total mass market and it's the second highest game selling. Again, it's cheaper, and so units are going to be up, but still, this one still had me sort of scratching my head a little bit.
Number 1.
All right, the number 1 surprising thing to me is not something that's on this list. It's actually something that was not on this list. Ticket to Ride was not anywhere in the top 30 of selling in 2025, which to me is mind-blowing because Ticket to Ride, you know, when I bought my copy 15 years ago, it said 2 million copies sold on the box. This year, the box says 20 million sold. I mean, this is the quintessential modern-day classic game that sells more than anything, right? Like for a game in that price range, for sure, right? And earlier this year, they did a new version of Ticket to Ride, like a refresh. And I've reviewed that if you haven't seen it, and I've done a comparison. One of the good things about this version is they have like the full-size cards. You don't have these tiny little cards anymore. I've always wanted them to put full-size cards in there. They did. They make the board much more vibrant. They redid the cover. Now this was quite polarizing when I did the review, is that a lot of people were going on and being like, I hate the new box cover. It looks like AI art. They should have, this is a classic game. It should be kept to look classic and not like forced, you know, modernism to it, stuff like that. And so, but nowhere on the list. So I was very surprised about this. And part of me thinks, you know, Noble Knights is a site where you go to, the gamer enthusiasts probably mostly go there to buy games. They sell games to them. They trade games with them. They buy used games. It's a big part of the business is buying and selling used games. And so I'm thinking that maybe the people that go to Noble Knight already have Ticket to Ride, right? And maybe the people that are getting Ticket to Ride, these 20 minutes old, are buying them at Target, they're buying them at Walmart, they're buying them on Amazon, stuff like that. And so maybe just the people that are going to Noble Knight aren't ones that need to buy Ticket to Ride. That's the only thing I think of is why it's not in the top selling game here. But yet Rory's Story Cubes is number 2. Okay, it's cheaper, but so I'm scratching my head. Now I did, after seeing this list, I did talk to a reputable source of mine within the industry, generally speaking, that has access to numbers and such, of sales numbers. And they did tell me that the new version of Ticket to Ride, they call it Ticket to Ride Refresh, is not doing that well this year. And to me, that's mind-boggling because on the stores, if you go in the stores, that's the only one that's there. And I have a hard time saying like someone's going to walk into a Target or Walmart and see the new Ticket to Ride box and not buy it because of the box. Like, I don't see that happening. But maybe for hobby channels, maybe it's not selling as well because people can buy the used, they like the classic look version better, and they're buying the used version online somewhere. So maybe that's well, but it was a real head scratch to be like, what? Like the game that sells more than anything in the hobby market in that price range and box size, not even in the top 30? I was like, what? Is there a mistake here? I actually contacted Noble Knight when they sent me the list. I'm like, are you sure you didn't like have a problem with the list? I'm like, no, it's not on the list this year. So that is the biggest surprise here. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be trying to do more collaborations with Noble Knight with different fun things to do about this. Let me know what types of things you would like to learn about the industry, maybe even with this specific list. I know most of you are probably like, yeah, show me the exact numbers, you know, stuff like that. But there's only so much I can show. And so, yeah, let me know what other videos you'd like me to show you about with or without Noble Knight's list that they can send me from the inside. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships with board games, by helping you on the next one you love. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, being the one table to rule them all with Game Toppers, leg kits, dining covers, premium game mats, and more. In their 5.0 Kickstarter, they found a way to deflate prices to pre-pandemic levels without sacrificing their quality brand, and in some cases by $200, plus dropping the shipping price as much as 50%, saving another $100. Go to GameToppersLLC.com to late pledge now.